Welcome to the Value Maker podcast. My name is Ryan Perist. I'm your host, supported by Heather Bicknell, as we meet with the people that make the digital workspace work. It's about the technology, it's about improving people's work experience and finding the return on value.
Long time no see.
Has been a while. Has been a while. How are things in the US of A?
Oh, well, it's different from asking me if I'm good. We're pre-election, so it's always interesting times, but
Yeah.
I'm doing well. I'm busy. I just got some fun news. I just got ordained the other day, just one of those
Okay. Yeah.
online ones because I'm officiating a friend's wedding this fall. So I've been
Wow. That's pressure.
researching and pressure, writing my talk track and all that stuff, but it should be fun. And then who knows? Maybe I'll do so good that other people start asking me. I hope they don't. We'll see. But no, looking forward to it. What's new with you?
I'm curious. I mean, what made them ask you? What made you do it? I'm just like, I don't know. Is it always something you wanted to do, or
No, not at all. I think it's more of a trend to have like a friend or a family member be the one to do it rather than kind of, maybe work with someone you don't know. And so when they approached me about it, I was like, oh, hadn't even obviously, I was already going to attend this wedding, but it hadn't even crossed my mind that I could be running you know, the show.
this?
So, but, she's a really close friend of mine from growing up, one of my sister's best friends, actually. So it's kind of a no-brainer just to say yes and to do that for them. So it's a little bit of public speaking, a little nerve-wracking, but, I feel like I've done it enough for my career and my, with the
Mm.
podcast and everything at this point, it's good preparation. So yeah, I didn't even really consider declining, I suppose.
Well, that's good. I mean, it's good. It's good to test yourself. I think that's a good thing. And there'll always be a memory of this. It reminds me of a funny story, though. So when I was a youngster, I don't remember what year it was. I mean, I must have been like second grade or something like that. So very young. And you know how kids take everything you say literally. So we had a priest, Father McGrail. I was at a Catholic school. And my mother had said that he'd married, she said, oh, Father McGrail married so-and-so. I remember this lady was, I can't remember what it was. So the next day I went to school and said, oh yeah, Father McGrail, because, obviously Catholic priests don't get married, right? I didn't know this. So I went to all my friends saying, oh yeah, Father McGrail has married my mom's friend, so-and-so. Anyway, it became a thing because I went to a teacher, the teacher to the headmaster, this whole thing about how I
Oh
was
my
spreading this
goodness.
rumor. So I wouldn't say I got into a lot of trouble, but I got into, obviously was corrected quite aggressively that, he couldn't be married and he couldn't be seeing this woman and all this stuff. Obviously I took it as an innocent thing, but the way it came out was like he was having an affair with this woman, because obviously
Yes.
it's kids spawned it. And when I told my mom what happened, she just backed out laughing, saying, "Well, no, married means like he did the ceremony, because she never said he was the husband. Like that's obviously did those jokes, so it is quite funny."
That is hilarious. And yeah, you can get ordained just by filling out a form online. So that's the route that I did, just to be clear. I am not suddenly a Catholic priest.
No, I get that. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, news on my side. What's going on? Product's doing really well. We're really getting. So Ranjita's really focused on, who's our developers, really focused on cleaning up a lot of stuff. And we had two teams, and this is life's hard lessons of building a product. I'd used some guys that I didn't really know very well to build the first version and paid them a lot of money. And when I say a lot of money, anything more than a few grand is a lot of money. And I knew at the time they weren't doing a good job. My instincts told me, my gut told me like it was a screaming red flag. But because I was so hectic and so busy and all the rest of it, and the guy convinced me often that they were doing the right thing and all the rest of it. When I finally got Ranjit involved, who's been our developer now for a year now, it was a complete mess, absolute mess, like really badly built. Now we use a low code, no code platform called Bubble, which I'll be honest, I'm quite impressed with, having been in the space now for a while. And it doesn't take away from the fact that you still need to have a developer mindset with some of these platforms, be it Webflow or Bubble or there's tons of them, because you still have to be logical. And I started fixing some of the stuff ages ago, and then I hired a guy that used to work for me. I thought he would pick it up, and he didn't really. And Ranjit's done a fantastic job in fixing a lot of stuff now, because now we've cleared away a lot of this, like this illogical, weird stuff. And the product's going to do the nice thing. We're using it now to run everything we do. I'm having conversations with people doing demos, and they're going, "Oh, we like it. It works. It's that kind of." I would say it's not really, if you've ever read the mom test, just because someone says they like it doesn't necessarily mean the same as they're going to buy it. And just because they say they're going to buy it in the future doesn't mean they're going to buy it now. So you're always trying to cut through the chaff of people giving you feedback. But it is really gratifying that even like I was doing some ISO 27K stuff today. I'm thinking, you know what, actually our product could work for this. We could actually do this. So that's probably my most essential good news of the week is that the product journey is hard, but they're positives.
That's awesome though to hear. And yeah, I mean, listen, I feel like this is the founder journey, right? And I don't know, a year's lesson or so.
Well, we've
Yeah.
bootstrapped. I mean, to be, if I go through that sort of the justification of where we are and why we're here, I left because I was so busy with because when you're bootstrapping, you're earning income wherever you can to pay the bills for the team working on the project or the product. And what I've learned through this the hard way is you can't just leave people to their own devices, and what you think they understand doesn't necessarily mean they understand. So the last couple of months, I've had a bit of time back as Phoenix One has grown, and I've really gotten into what we're working on. And then, Rajit's a very solid guy, all credit to him. You can leave him to his own devices, but because we're using the tool every day, we're seeing the stuff more regularly and we were solving problems more quickly. And I think just getting rid of all the bad stuff that was put in there made a big difference. But you're right, the founder's journey, I mean, it's highs and lows, and I'm reading a very good book. What's it called? In fact, it's a husband and wife team, and he's written a lot of books. He's a startup founder as well, many, many times. And his wife is a psychiatrist, and his name is Rob Walling. So the Start Small, Stay Small is one of his books, which I quite enjoyed. The other one is the SaaS Playbook, which is also really good. And his wife's name is Sherry Walling. Keeping Your Shit Together is the name of the book. Well, SHSTART. And it's amazing. So I think we talked about the 75 hard, which is something we can chat about. But
yeah,
because of reading the 10 pages every day, I'm forcing myself to read these books, which I've bought for years and never read them. And it's funny how some of these things now that I'm reading are so well timed to where I am mentally or emotionally around this stuff. And yeah, I can't recommend these books highly. In fact, what we're going to start putting together a reading list of all the books that we've mentioned along the podcast.
Love it. That's a great idea. We should have done that ages ago.
Yeah. Yeah. We've talked about it, but I've just given Annabelle access to my stuff to go and do that. Because one of the guys that I interviewed last week, Ben, we were talking about a few science fiction books. One of those was a book written by Daniel Suarez called Daemon, which is about a game developer that dies and he leaves behind this autonomous daemon that basically starts taking over things. And I didn't realize it was a book 2. So I finished book 1 because I reread it. Now I'm reading book 2. So there's a few of those books that are worth reading because Daniel Suarez writes really well. And I thought it'd be useful for people to have access to that. So
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Tell me about 75 hard. What day is it now?
So I've had to restart once. I'm actually thinking of restarting twice. So what am I on today? Day 30 today. And I've got one workout to get done. I'm almost done on the water today. So yeah, pretty much on track. What's been interesting with this is the guy who came up with it made some sexist comments on his podcast that got into the press. And the police department that was using his whole framework has now broken connection with him. So it's been interesting from a reaction point of view, because a lot of the guys in the group have basically said that it kind of has lost the appeal for them. And I tend to agree with it. I think the comments he made were repulsive. Basically, he made a comment about how women shouldn't be police officers. And he obviously had some instance where he was pulled over by a female cop and she and him had some sort of interaction that didn't go well for him. And yeah, he vented about it. I'd say he cost himself some followers and some people align with him. So it's been a bit of a mental, as I said to one of the guys, that, you've got to actually not align with this guy. You've got to align with what the program is, which is this constant thing every day to tackle these small things. Because they are small. I mean, doing 2 workouts a day and taking a picture of yourself and reading 10 pages of a book, not picture book. They're small things, but they're good things. So just because you do the 75 hard doesn't mean you necessarily agree with his views. Because he is quite polarizing in some respects. So yeah, so that's the latest on 75 hard. I'm thinking of restarting because I've hurt my knee. Well, that seems to be okay today. I've actually got an assessment this afternoon. It was hard to do 2 workouts with your knee sore. Because I was doing this thing where I'd read that 85% of people over 40 don't sprint anymore. So I decided that I wasn't going to be in that stat.
Oh, kicked 0 to 50 on the running. Is that how it happened? Yeah.
I went for a sprint and I sprinted up the hill, and because I got this lovely hill that goes up past my house, which every morning I wear my weighted vest and I go up the hill and then I go down the hill, I go up the hill and down the hill for my 45 minutes. And well, I'm feeling pretty good today, so I'm going to give it a go. So I, sort of jogged out the house and I warmed up a bit. And we've got the staircase, you go up and down over the railway track before you get to the hill. So up and down the railway track steps. And I was like, okay, I'm feeling pretty strong. Feeling quite warm now. So I ran up the hill, then I jogged down the other hill. So that was all feeling fine. And I then got to this sort of flat patch and I sort of sprinted down that and I was like, oh, I'm feeling okay. And then when I got back home and I was sort of gone for an hour of sort of running, walking, sprinting combinations, obviously when you cool down, you start to feel things. And I did a light stretch afterwards. It wasn't like I just went, hot to cold. And then I went to go fetch my son from school, I think, or something. I went for a walk and I was like, oh, my knee's a bit funny now. Like, what's going on with my knee? Anyway, no, that night it was all swollen and throbbing and whatever. So I did the usual things, icing and take some painkillers. And then the next day I went to London and walked 25,000 steps. So it felt a bit better, to be honest. But the minute I jog, I could feel it's not happy. So we'll see. But there's no point pushing yourself and creating a serious injury.
No, definitely not. Then you might need to get into physical therapy and actually do some things about it. Although I will say, so I've been on this, I've realized, no longer in my 20s, if I want to start a new form of exercise or kind of get back to something, the best way to do it is to really baby yourself in just to reduce risk of injury. So from the running side, even though I've been building up, starting with a run walk and all the rest and being okay, just running slow. There's a lot of talk and research around running in zone 2. So sort of that low, medium heart rate and the benefits of that, even though you're kind of, if you try it and you're someone like me who has if I'm sprinting, I'm instantly at 180 beats per minute. So you have to force yourself. But yeah, it's tough. I've gotten plantar fasciitis and things. So I know even it's just you're doing the little physio preventative exercises and everything just adds time, right? But I feel like you should just be less hard on yourself and make your workouts a meditation or upper body stretch or something for a little bit.
So it's funny. I don't know if you remember working with Fred Cooksey.
Yeah. Yes, I remember Craig.
Yeah. So I got him. He's done this before, and I got him to join our group. And I mean, he did really well his first time. He showed me his before and after photos, and I mean, he really got jacked. And he sent out a workout the other day, every minute on the minute. So you've got 12 exercise. It's 32 minutes long, this whole thing, but it's crazy. It's 15 push-ups and another exercise all within 30 seconds. And then you got 30, and then so you've got a minute to finish all the exercises and your rest. So if you're slow, you got to start the next exercise straight away. So you can imagine how it think. But I said to him, that's only 32 minutes. He goes, yeah, but don't you stretch and warm down and warm? I was like, you sneaky bugger. I see what you've done. You've included your you were thinking, I was like, okay, so that's probably okay. So what I will do, yeah. So I'll do like a 30-minute hit workout. What I was doing was a 30-minute hit workout, then a 15-minute strength workout,
Hmm.
or 10-minute strength workout, and then like a 5-minute stretch on using Apple Fitness. But now I do some stretching first, or I take a light walk around first before I start the heavy stuff. So I have taken a bit of that, and I do count, for example, going into the steam room and the sauna and
Okay.
doing like, we were in Turkey last week, and they had a lovely, setup with steam room, sauna, two steam rooms, two saunas and a steam room, and then 4 jacuzzis, but were all ice bath jacuzzis. So really nice and cold. So I did like an hour of that, of contrasting, which, you're getting your heart rate up and down by doing that. So I counted that as not really one of my workouts, but I counted that as part of my exercise or mental stuff as well. Because I'd already done the workouts. I was getting up every morning, going for a walk, and then I was doing a workout in the gym, and then I'd go and do that as my extra like benefit stuff. But yeah, you're right. You got to recover somehow.
Yes. Yeah. With a continuous thing like that, definitely for sure. Have you found it to be, I mean, obviously you're still doing it. So have you kind of experienced the benefits yet?
Oh yeah. So
Do you believe in
I've
it?
lost,
Yeah.
yeah, I've lost 4 kilos. So it's at almost 10 pounds in a month. 1.5% body fat. I've put on 2% muscle. So in that respect, yeah, working like a charm. I follow my diet, which is basically keto carno, which I call it. So I eat steak, eggs, cheese, bacon, and butter. The water's obviously part of it, and I drink my usual coffee. But that's all I have. I don't have anything else. And so I haven't had sugar in a month. In fact, I haven't had sugar in 6 weeks. And I can't even tell you how that has changed so many things. And it's quite weird. I had a pretty good meeting on Thursday, and I was telling the guy that I just wanted to have a chocolate cake to celebrate. It was
Mm.
like I associated the celebration with the chocolate cake, not the. So it's still a trained thing that you want sweets when you celebrate, but because of not losing this, I haven't done it, and it's funny how it's so easy to get rid of the craving. Whereas if you're having sugar on a regular basis, that craving can get quite strong. And we were talking about what, like my father-in-law was here, and I mean, he just lives on sugar. He has one biscuit, then he has 10 biscuits. I can completely that's move on. And I think that's the power of this, is that because you've become so committed to something beyond just your own self-discipline, that you can use it. So I would do it again. As I say, I'm not lying with that guy
Hmm.
unless he changes his views. But one of the other things that I've added, because I'm of this program, I was reading Wim Hof's book, which I've been putting off for years to read. And now I have cold showers, which I think has also made a big difference. So all in all, it's only a positive thing. And I sent you that article this morning around the Amazon
Yeah.
enforcing their staff to come back to the office. And I was just
5 days.
thinking like that. Yeah. And I was just thinking, this is so archaic. And I was thinking, but that would actually make this, I would say harder, but less fulfilling, because you're losing control. And that's what this thing gives you. It gives you your control on your time, or it forces you to have control on your time. And I don't have a problem with being in the office. I was in the office on Wednesday, and it's good to be visible to people, good to see people, it's good to talk to people, but it's a choice. And the minute you take someone's choice away, you demotivate them completely. And I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with Amazon, because one of the points in the article was that how many people are looking to leave Amazon because of this being enforced. I don't know how many
A lot
would
of, yeah.
actually leave.
There's a lot of speculation, around a lot of return office initiatives, but definitely a 5-day week one, and coming from Amazon, is that it's essentially like a soft layoff. They're anticipating some
Mm.
level of attrition. And the other announcement they made was that they're kind of removing some of the management layers. So I can't remember if it was 12 or 15, but they want managers to have like a certain number of direct reports. It's much high. Like, I don't know, if you're managing 12 to 15 people, you're not, you know, coaching them, right? It's kind of more of the unblocking, maybe productivity, like handling kind of anything that's like really serious, but it's not you're not in a position to help someone like grow in their career if you're managing that many people.
No, not at all. And I mean, I've managed big teams, and you need to have a hierarchical structure of some sort. I mean, yes, you can have a shared resource that does all the line management stuff, like all the leave approvals, expense approvals, all that kind of stuff, sort of chief of staff role. You can have that. But if you're going to grow leaders in your business, you need to give them time. Now, I don't do scheduled one-to-ones anymore. I used to do it a long time ago in my career, but what I do now is, my guys, if they want to have one-to-one, they book it, and then we have the conversation. But imagine 15 staff want to book with you at the same week, and they all want an hour. That's 2 days, 2.5 days. Otherwise, you're going to run around chasing them. And then I can only think that you're basically, I once it been a conducive environment to being productive, because you got to, 15 people means you got to worry about what 15 people are doing, not doing, etc. Especially they all do similar things. I mean, maybe break it up into teams. I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Do you focus on your low performers or high performers? What I thought was I saw a more nuanced take from an HR creator on TikTok, which is that, you're Amazon. From a corporate side, people will want to work for you. If you're honest about what you want your employer value prop to be, you can attract people aligned with that. I think, Amazon corporate, I don't think is known as like the warm and fuzzy place to work, right? I've only ever heard like high pay, but the culture is really not, employee friendly. It's, Andy Jassy described it as he wants to make it like the world's biggest startup. They want to, it's not, and that was sort of I think that's how they're spinning reduce the bureaucracy by removing some of the management layer. But yeah, I think if they're just, instead of trying to treat returning to the office as like a culture and collaboration play 5 days a week, if they're just kind of a little bit more open about their intentions and they're like, look, this is what we want, our work style to be like. This is how we want employees to be interacting. This is what we think work should be like. This is how we do it at Amazon, basically. Kind of instead of trying to, I think that where employees get frustrated is like, what do you mean I'm going to collaborate? Even employees with fully virtual team members, right? Even employees they know will just be on chime calls, right? 8 hours a day, they're still required to come in. So that's not collaboration.
I get what you're saying. I just don't think it makes any sense. And
Mm.
I think when you get to a certain size of a business, you do need to have some level of administration function that manages the people.
Oh, for that layer, yeah.
Even in being involved in a lot of startups, you get to a point where you're a certain size, you need a certain level of focus, certain areas. You just can't do it as a flat structure. You can have a network structure where virtual teams will get together and solve a problem. That's not a problem, but you still have to have that structure that gives some guidance, some direction on what's going to happen. The layers do make sense. You just don't need to have layers that are, 25 levels deep per se, I look at all my corporate environments, you'll have a corporate structure, CEO, C-level, tower heads, management, whatever, but it'll only go down 7 layers. There's so much theory behind this that's been proven to work. As long as the information can flow without that hierarchical structure. So you can have those networks. Team of Teams is a very good example of that, the book, where the US military went from being hierarchical to being more, they still are hierarchical, obviously, but there's a network now where they have a daily call for an hour and a half where everyone joins. It's important that needs to be there, and they break into their working groups to solve a problem. I think you got to have that. But if you create a bureaucracy layers, get rid of them. But I don't know.
We'll see. I think they're rolling out these changes early next year. So we'll be on the lookout for the next.
But I think you're right
about working at Amazon.
It's a shaking the tree maneuver. That's what it is, for sure. Get rid of some people. That's what it is. Cool.
It's a strategy.
That's it. All right. Thanks, Heather. Gotta get going. Have a good day.
You too. Talk later. Bye.
Thank you for listening to our episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please share it with your friends and colleagues. Help us grow our network. Please also check out our website at www.valuu.work and our product that's on there. It's something we worked really hard on. We hope that it benefits you.